I want to make this to clarify a few things I meant on the last community post that I made about the whole swimmers thing. I thought this was really all swept under the rug. I mean, this happened, I think, 2 years ago in 2020 when the whole COVID thing was going on. For those that are out of the loop, Joey Armstrong, the drummer, or former drummer now for Swimmers, and the son of Green Day's Billie Joe Armstrong, was accused by Lydia Night, the lead singer of The Regrets, for basically some, not great things, mainly statutory fill in the blank, and a lot of mental abuse and stuff like that. And, again, it's so serious situations, and it just is like, it's very hard to talk about. And I guess for a while, Swimmers just kind of, not necessarily swept it under the rug, but they obviously stayed out of the public eye. And they recently came back with this apology, which I saw on Twitter, and then I saw Lydia's response as well. And that whole apology that they made wasn't even really an apology. It was more of an open letter to the fans, and they kind of played victim and also shamed or just gaslit Lydia the whole time. Like, it was like, you say you care about the situation and stuff like this, yet when it has happened to, someone who's in your band, it seems like you hit the panic button and you don't know what to say at this point. Like, they were reading off the scripted apology like a fourth grader trying to give some sort of like reading assignment. Like, it was just very awkward. They lied about a lot of things about Lydia and the whole situation, stating that she wanted them to promote her band's new song at the time, so that way, she would keep her mouth shut about this, which apparently, Lydia and her band have said that wasn't true at all. And they said that they didn't have sex, because I think the thing that I left out here, the important detail, was Lydia Night was underage when this happened. She was 16 years old, and I believe Joey Armstrong was 22 or 23 years old. He was in his early 20s at this point, and, Lydia being underage, she was kind of, how do I put it, groomed into this relationship, and there were times where he would want her to give him oral sex, to which she would abide, and all this kind of stuff. So even Lydia Night has clarified there was no, like, sex as in penetration, but there was a lot of other things, and when you have oral sex, that's a form of sex. So when she says that, that's what she means, whereas Swimmers was like, well, they never had, like, sex before, when, again, look up the definition of oral sex, and there's a reason it's called oral sex. Sex is right there in the fucking title. And the thing, too, they did that whole thing about, before they even get to the point, the elephant in the room, they talked about, I think the two main people in the band, are the only two people in the band now in Swimmers, are brothers. And one of them said, oh yeah, my brother was in a car accident and we were trying to, get over that and figure this out, this, that, and the other. Right before, they were trying to talk about what people were more wanting them to respond about. Tell us, what's going on and all this kind of stuff. And it just kind of felt like they were throwing out the feel bad for us card before we tell you this thing that, we're not even really going to apologize for. We're just going to, throw more shade at the victim and kind of victim shame them and all this kind of stuff. And, I think the fact that Lydia said what she had to say, calling him out, and then letting it all kind of finish behind the scenes was the right way to go. And, I don't blame Swimmers for popping up and being like, hey, we need to talk. But had it have been an actual, like, not necessarily apology, because personally, I don't think the other two members in Swimmers need to apologize for anything, because they weren't the ones doing this to Lydia. But the fact that, when it all seemed to come out and they took Joey's side, it's like, I get it. When you're friends with someone for so long and something like that comes out against them, it's a very hard decision to make of, do I cut them off completely and risk this being, like, false, or do I continue to, be on their side, and then comes out that this is all true and all this stuff, then it makes me and the brand that I put together look bad. It's a very tough situation, but at some point in time, you just you not necessarily have to play devil's advocate, but there's a point in time where you don't take sides in a situation like this, because I feel it's their business to an extent because it's in the band. But personally, overall, what I would have done in that situation, I would have been like, figure it out. This is your situation. We have to fix, whatever with the band now, but this is between you and her, and I don't really want any say in this. I'm not taking a side here because there really is no need to take sides for something that isn't really going to affect me, and then however it plays out, then you make your decision right then and there. I think that's the right way to go about it, but most people just want to stick with that person because they've known them for a long time and they know they would do nothing like this, even though, again, here we are. I still want to state that these are allegations. I don't really know if much more has come out, but Lydia Night here seems like she's telling the truth. She doesn't have a history of like being this like liar or anything, or just anything bad in general, and I know judging her off of that could be a bit hypocritical and whatever, but like I don't see this, I don't see her using this to gain anything, because her band is doing fine. I don't see this as publicity to get her band up and whatnot, and she doesn't seem like the type of person that would do it for that reason. She seems like the type of person that would say, this happened to me, I'm calling them out, and for people who have gone through something similar to what I've gone through, it's okay to speak up. She seems like that kind of person, because, she's just very, her band started out as what they call a riot girl band, which has a lot to do with like, feminism and girl power and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know why she would ruin that image by throwing out fake accusations. It just wouldn't make sense to me. And again, I don't think that's the case. I think that what she's saying is genuine. And that's really the only thing we have to go off of with her is her word. And, I haven't heard anything if Joey Armstrong has said anything since then. I don't know. But SWMRS came out and just made this half-assed apology, and I don't know. Like, I'm not saying, like, oh, SWMRS need to be canceled for this or it's their fault or anything, Again, they had to come back and say something because it happened with someone in their band. So, they gotta, be like, look, like, this happened, and we're sorry to the person affected, and we promise that we will be more careful in the future with things like this. Like, that would have been, like, the perfect response. But they made the complete, like, wrong turn during this apology, and never even apologized, never even, like, fully were aware of the seriousness of the situation, and took the victim in this case, Lydia, and just said, well, he was 22, you were actually 17, not 16, which I don't know how 17 makes it any better, because she's still underage, and 22 and 17, that's pushing it. That's pushing it there still. So yeah, like, it just it just seems like they're sweeping it under the rug because they don't want to talk about it, or at least they don't want to fully acknowledge what happened. But I don't think SWMRS should be canceled. I'm not saying go after SWMRS. If they come back, make music, make an album or whatever, I'm not gonna have a problem with it. I was never a fan of the band anyways, so what do I even care? But it just seems like now you've kind of ruined your image a little bit by doing this yourself. You can't blame cancel culture for this because you came out with this, and you want us to think that, like, oh, this was genuine, this was from the heart, and this, that, and the other, when they friggin' read a script, an apology. Like, I get it, apologies can be hard to really kind of think off the top of your head, because you might think one thing and say it different, that people misconstrue it into something else. But, like, my God, if you want it to feel genuine, at least just be able to read like you're actually talking and not like a robot, or like I said, a nervous like fourth grade student giving a project, reading out his essay in some sort of like reading class or whatever. Because I've had my troubles reading over the years. You guys could probably tell that when I do my year end videos, because I scripted them for the past couple of years, and all that kind of stuff. But at least when I read off of a script, I still try to make it like I'm engaging with the audience, like I'm still actually talking to you, like you don't even realize I'm reading off a script. But they held the script right up to their face and were like, so yeah, we've been gone for a while, but we are here to address the elephant in the room, and that was the situation that took place 2 years ago. Like that doesn't sound genuine. And it does, like, okay, again, maybe a lot of people have trouble reading aloud, but it's just like, man, you couldn't just take the time to like skim over the important parts and talk about them without reading off the script. Like I feel like that would have been the more better way to go about it. But yeah, swimmers, they can do whatever they want. Joey's not in the band anymore, so if they keep going, I guess it is what it is. I'm glad to see Lydia and the Regrets doing fine. I really liked their last album, and I'm just kind of glad that she wanted to just go on with this, or not go on, move on from it. And that response on Twitter she had was genuinely like, when she just was like, look, fuck you, stop gaslighting me. I was just like, you go, girl, because that's just like, that's the complete correct response when you call somebody out for doing something so traumatizing to you. And they're just, it almost seems like they're taunting her. And she's just like, you don't understand. And at this point in time, I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So stop bringing it up. And I commend her for that. I think it was very, very, strong of her to do that. And she was showing true emotion there. She didn't have a script that she prepared. It was a minute and 18 seconds of just stop it. Stop it. This is what you lied about, and I'm not talking about this anymore after this video's over. And that's what she's basically saying. I'm moving on. I'm done with it. We don't need to talk about it anymore. I've said what I had to say. My statement wasn't to try to cancel your band. It was just to let people know what Joey Armstrong did to me during those days. He manipulated an underage girl into doing sexual acts on him and making them think that they were like dating, even though Lydia does say that they were dating, but she knows the relationship was wrong now because she's in her early 20s, she's an adult, and she realizes that that relationship wasn't legal, and it obviously wasn't right at all. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say, clarifying my community post. I didn't want it like I was sending out hate to swimmers for at least trying to talk about the situation, but they just went about it wrong and probably did it in the worst way possible. I guess the only one I would say fuck you to is Joey Armstrong. Whether you're Billie Joe Armstrong's kid or not, you do something like that, then you're a fucking asshole in my book. Like, it's just so wrong to take advantage of someone young like that, and to have it be these gross acts that are only really supposed to be meant for adults, consenting adults. It's just like, man, you are the scum of earth that people don't like. That really is the truth there, and I'm saying that as like a fact. Like, anybody like Joey Armstrong who's done something like that is just a fucking shitbag. And I don't feel bad when I say fuck you, you piece of trash garbage, because that's what you are. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. And again, I will say this in these videos every time I talk about something like this. If you've ever been in a situation where you know that you were sexually assaulted by someone, or something similar to Lydia Night's case here, whatever, don't be afraid to speak up, because there are people out there that will listen to you, and it is important that you get it out there, and you hopefully get the comfort that you need from a very traumatic experience or experiences, because some people are just that bad that they will do it more than once, and they will make you feel so terrible. And it ruins me knowing that, again, there's people out there on this earth that do that. But yeah, just continue staying safe out there, and I guess I will catch you all in the next one.